This is gonna be your cat-cow. We're gonna assume a quadruped position. That just means we're gonna get onto our hands and knees. I like to keep the shins grounded, tops of the feet connected here. I like to have the shoulders over my wrist. If I got wrist issues, like if my wrists get jammed up in this position, we can lead our hands a little bit ahead of our shoulders as well. That's gonna offload the wrist here. I wanna make sure that my hand is splayed nice and wide, so I don't wanna have a small hand. Nice big hand, cover the most surface area here. Feel the fingers really connect in this position. Now from here, I have the weight into my knees, down through my shins, as well as through the tops of my feet. And from here, I wanna sync it with my breath. So this is a very breath integrated movement. I wanna start off and find a neutral position. So I wanna make sure my head isn't sagged, my neck isn't jutted up or anything weird like that. I wanna make sure I have a nice neutral spine. I'm not rounded through my lumbar. I'm not extended through my thoracic. From here, I wanna have basically the creases of my elbows facing each other. That's gonna be a neutral position. When I start this off, I'm gonna take an inhale, and as I inhale, I wanna feel segmental flexion through my spine. So I wanna feel each portion of my spine moving through the breath, not just as one unit altogether. So what that would look like here is as I start to inhale, I'm gonna start with my elbows. The creases of my elbows are gonna start to point upwards, and I'm gonna start to get my shoulders into that closed, packed position. As I continue to inhale, I'm gonna start to round my chin down towards my chest to get cervical flexion, then continue to push the ground away through my hands to get that thoracic rounded. From there, I start to move down through my lumbar. Finally, my lumbar and my sacrum are gonna finish off this motion through flexion as I reach the top of the inhale. I like to use the inhale here because the breath is creating traction with the flexion here, so I'm getting the most space created through the breath, through this motion. Then as I exhale, I'm gonna reverse the motion here. So I'm gonna start to feel my lumbar extend. I'm gonna start to sink my chest down and start to extend through my thoracic. Finally, upper thoracic and cervical start to go. As I extend my cervical up, I'm softening my elbows and getting into a little bit of internal rotation on the humerus to really pull myself through. I'm not passively falling through. So what I also want to think about is squeezing and activating my shoulder blades. So think of it like I'm squeezing an imaginary pen between my shoulder blades, actively engaging this position. Think of it like you're trying to pull yourself through the ground is the idea here. So as I pinch my shoulder blades, as I continue to exhale, finish the exhale, and then I go right back into the inhale, starting with the elbows and neck. With this, you don't want to rush it. You want to really sync with the breath. You can hold the end ranges. So if you get into that end range of flexion, you can hold it for 3 to 5 seconds, really feel the gapping of the joints, and then flow right back into that exhale as you go into extension. Never force, never fight. It shouldn't be painful when you're doing any of this stuff. Just flow with the movement. As you start getting into this movement more and more, you start doing more reps. You're increasing circulation, tissue will start getting warmed up. But most importantly, take your time and meet yourself where you're at. And this has been your cat-cow.